Hello! Okay, here's what's changed since last time. The order changed a little bit. Everyone's equipment, still the same. I updated the skills a little bit. So let's see, he got anatomy. What do I do with him? Feels like there we go. Got him HP infusion, forgot to put it on. Like a genius. He got Meditate and Coax. These two got Knockback, because early game Knockback archers are awesome. And then, you know, healers are still doing their healing thing. So, we'll get to that when we get to it. But next is Zod Moors. Let me double check this right quick. He hasn't been seen. Yeah, they fear for his safety. The dude's a freaking crazy necromancer. Whatever. And this is when they start mentioning these guys. Yeah, so they got labeled as freaking terrorists and all that. And yeah, then word gets out about this anyway. But such is life. Let's see, people-wise, this still cracks me up. Sword fighter, that's why he's got that giant axe and never ever ever uses a sword. I think it was a mistranslation, because it probably was meant to say, they probably meant to say like man-at-arms or something. Although Goosen gets that title later on, so I don't know why they call him the sword fighter, because again, doesn't fight with swords, doesn't have a sword skill. Strange. Oh well. Moving on. It's kind of funny. Because it was just, yeah, this'll do. I was just doing the KOL mosquito run, and realized that I started talking about a thing, but never actually finished. Well, I mean, yeah, they left like 10 people to guard the entire border, so there's that. But yeah, no, so as far as ideas and stuff for different strategy games and whatnot, it would be really cool to just have a game that's kind of like a mix between XCOM, this, and honestly, I want to say something like FTL, like where you have a very limited amount of time. Like, let's say you start off with the raw recruits, right? And you've got some kind of political randomness going on in the background. Like, I would assume it would be set up something like a 4X game of sorts, maybe something like Crusader Kings, where there's constantly, you know, some political intrigue going on in the background. But, like a thing where, okay, you know, you've got these raw recruits or whatever. Right now, the country or whatever is completely behind the war thing, so they're giving you a ton of money or whatever, but you don't have the people to do it. So it's like, that's your situation at that point. So, you know, you build your squads or whatever, maybe like a Ogre battle kind of like multiple squad system, so you're like getting a pretty decent amount of money to start or whatever. And then, let's say you end up winning a fight way too hard, you know, you do really well, and suddenly it's like, okay, you know, news gets out, they're like, no, they're being super brutal in how they're fighting. So now suddenly funding is dropping, and popularity is dropping, and morale dropped, and so it's like, okay, you can win fights, but you have to, you know, still be reasonable about it and give them a chance to run away or whatever. Or maybe it's viewed as weak, and, you know, it's just like all kinds of different, a constant changing rule set, you know? And then it's like, okay, you have X amount of days until your next fight, you know, until you're getting attacked, or until you're attacking. And so you're basically just picking what you want your guys to train on, or, you know, like a sort of old Tactics Ogre-esque, you know, training map. Just having them fight each other in certain ways, you know, pairing people off, like, you spar with you, you spar with you, like, these two got a sort of relationship they're going, so, you know, these two are buddies right here. You know, these healers over here suddenly suddenly went nuts and started a cult, or, you know, like maybe toss some Darkest Dungeon in there. Oh man, that'd be so cool. I'd love it. Then you know, you get to the fight, and that's when you actually might have people getting injured or maimed or whatever else, and Man, that is some pretty good damage. I might have him stick with heavy spears. That's some friggin' damage right there. But yeah. I don't know. I think it would be really awesome. And so, like, let's say, you know, you do all that. You go and you win your fight. Then you get back and it's like, okay. So your funding's changed based off of opinions on the war. You know, your standings changed. You get different availability of different resources for your classes. Like, let's say, you know, you've got old-timey musketeers or whatever, so if you lost support at any time and, you know, had to go do your own thing, you know, maybe you'd have a hard time getting ammunition for them, so, you know, maybe they'd end up being slower because they're trying to be more careful with their shots, or maybe they only have a certain amount of moves. And, yeah, so, like, you'd have to adjust for that. Or, let's say, you know, they, the day before, you know, it was raining a whole bunch, so your friggin' crossbows or whatever ended up sitting in the rain and you end up losing that. So suddenly, you know, you have a weapon type that's not terribly useful, or, you know, what else? Like, let's say a mist rolled in, you know, and suddenly you had all of your visibility limited. Which, to some extent, I recall that both Fire Emblem and, what's it? The one with the tanks. Which one is that one? Why can I not remember the name? Advance Wars. I recall that those tried to do those kinds of systems. But, there was just, I don't know, a little bit limited, and the whole you're spawning more units all the time thing. So, I don't know. But yeah, I think, I don't know, I think it would be pretty cool. So, Gampp is way tougher. I think I might actually have to go and take out one of his beasts instead. Ow, cat, why are you doing that? Came and literally stabbed me in the butt. Cruel, cruel little fuzzy thing. Yeesh. Alright. That guy's a pain, that guy's sort of. Oh, buddy. Once I get my power attacks, you're gone. Yeah, they're very evasive though. Let's just go for Gampp. They might end up going to heal Gampp, and at the very least, that would allow for healing up everybody, or for taking out some of their closer guys. There's a chance I might lose a couple people here, and, well, hopefully that won't be the case, but if it is, it is. I mean, so far, doing okay. It's Warren that I pushed up way too far here. But yeah, if you know of any game that does all that kind of stuff, please let me know. Because really, the closest I've seen is maybe something like War of the Chosen. That's the XCOM 2 expansion. Kind of had a similar thing where you kind of had, you know, mini politics with your different groups, although it was more they got attacked by stuff and couldn't support things than people actually squabbling. So their whole advertisement of, oh, well, these groups hate each other, it's a whole thing, it wasn't exactly accurate. It was more like, yeah, they're still gonna try and do all their whole thing, but they may not be able to. So there's that. But they did have, you know, relationship mechanics between different units. They had, you know, only a certain amount of time between fights. But I mean, they had a passive training thing, too. It's just, I really like that as a concept, like, where you're not just training people in fights, like, you are actually passively training people to do certain particular things in the background. It's just, I love that as a feature, you know, it's, I don't know, it's one of the most immersive things whenever it shows up, for me personally, anyway. Right, you know what? Change plans. You are gonna go beat the hell out of their back line, because these guys are annoying. Hi, wizard. Bye, wizard. Dang it, get bent. Whatever, those two are gonna go squish their squishies. I'm gonna have my spear guys and not Voltaire, but whatever the hell his face is, Axe Knight, hold the middle, and then everybody else is just gonna kind of delay from the back. Thanks for that 25% hit. And then, ideally, I'd like to recruit that lizard. See if that works out. His damage seems fairly low with his weapon of choice, so hopefully. Now I should have attacks on, or guaranteed attacks on my archers. If not, I'm gonna have this guy turn this way. I have them take him out. Alright, you're poisoned. You know what? There we go. I might have a chance to recruit him pretty soon here. My healer move first? Yes, she does. Okay. Should have brought more healers for this. I knew. Making small little ticks. Fine. Yeah, alright, we'll chance it. Fine, that's fine, that's fine. He turned around, and then that leaves the other one to take a guaranteed shot. Heal you. Like to keep Denim topped off, but he's relatively safe. Yeah, let's... no. Here's fine. Not worried about her taking hits. Healers generally will not be as much of a priority for the other guys anymore. Because again, they prioritize squishies. Oh, son of a baconator. You are exactly 1 point off. Dickery. Come on, well, go for it. There we go. Good stuff. Good job, Rosea. Alright. Forecast shows a slight chance of friggin' the entire sky falling down. Good job. Good job. How cool would it be if you could recruit Abda or Berta here, and then, like, they back off? They're like, oh, no, 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 come on, you know, you can't do that. Come over. They're like, no, we have a new friend now. And then it gets all sad. Like, no, they were my dudes. Why did you take my dudes? At the very least, and they'd be able to survive until the end of the game, I'll tell you that much. Whatever he does, they don't make it. Yes! Got me a lizard! I don't care, you can eat Warren. It's fine, he's the discount model. We'll replace him with a fancy one like 400 parts down the road. I'd prefer to end the fight and let him get the XP though. See if that's possible. Yeah, you might notice this is a little bit more in-depth. A little bit more in-depth than the original for sure. Nice. Good job, Rodness. Way to stab. Alright, so that is their... well, one of their healers gone. That's fine. Have anyone to... yeah. Alright, I'm gonna have Felix, yeah, dang it. I was gonna have Felix take out their wizard over there. I love how evasive he is right here. Right. I was gonna say almost stymied, unless that 12% rolls, which it didn't. All is well and good there. And HP infusion. I love that Spellblades are like basically health wizards now. They use their TP to heal themselves. They use basically all their health to bring somebody back to life. It's a cool system. Me likey. Alright, we're gonna go for Berta. Maybe potentially just take out that birdie. Damn mighty. What are you gonna do? Okay, you know what? Just getting up on Berta, because I really want Warren to get some friggin' XP this time. I wouldn't have your kill move yet. I don't know, I was hoping for that. Worth a hope, what can I say? Alright. Ah, Berta. Nice health you got there. It'd be a shame if somebody just punched a hole through it. There we go, she's gonna keep healing him. Yeah, one door closes, another one definitely opens. I forget exactly how this was possible, but whatever. We got the kill move at some point. You know, considering that they turn up dead anyway, you'd think that you'd be able to kill them off here. You can only kill them off in the second fight. Well, and the third fight, too. And then you can hire them. And then they can die for you instead. Hell yes, you are very, very in. Alright, what can you be? So, yeah, early game lizards, they're limited to 2 classes, but hopefully fix that pretty soon here. And let's make you all offense. Fine as you are. Do I just want to... I can't get ninjas yet. Well, that's fine. We're just gonna alternate these two, I guess. What I want him to be is a hoplite down the road. We'll see how that goes. Might have him be a two-hander jugger, maybe. We'll see. Seeing is what we'll do. Alright, anyway. That is only 17 minutes, whatever. Let's go do Barmamasa. Get all neutral up in this crap. Alright, let's just take you out completely. Replace you with the lizard for the moment, and there we go. That'll do. So this unfortunate bastard is just patrolling in the rain. Apparently nobody's told him that he can just find a place with a roof over it to do so, but oh well. So what's weird is that the Gagastanis are still patrolling around even though this is technically supposed to be a Wallachia town, but such is life. Well, this is basically a crappy coal camp more than an actual town. This is also one of those times where if you have bows, honestly, the rain is a problem, but it's not nearly as much of a problem as you'd think. Because you basically can just take everybody out anyway, especially if you got pushback or knockback. It can be absolutely hilarious. There's yeah, there's kind of a funny thing here where if you have knockback on a couple archers, you can just knock them straight off cliffs right at the very start, which I love to do. It's good stuff. Oh, nice 25% chance there. It's a shame my 80% can't hit you, but whatever. What are numbers? That's one of the things I really appreciate about this one. There's no bias to the numbers. They're there, but there's never a guarantee, and especially so with this mod. You're very few classes that can guarantee anything, as much as they can anyway, are much more valuable, and that's the funny thing. So, okay, warriors, archers, and dark knights can basically guarantee their hits, right? Or, I guess necromancers too. But that's the funny part, because they also can. because you can't guarantee getting past a parry. Now, you can get overpower, so if you have them using overpower, you know, there's a pretty good chance, but at the same time, there's, you know, there's also a very good chance you're not running overpower because, you know, that's not necessarily going to be something everyone wants to use. So even then, you know, they have to be specifically built to get a reliable guaranteed hit kind of thing going. Because if anything has a parry or a deflect or anything else, it is dramatically higher with this mod, courtesy of shields and boots and things. So you can potentially get pretty near maxed out parry or deflect in a relatively short amount of time. This is not a fight. It is not meant to be. Also, this guy's a few levels away from doing rally, or relay. Can't wait to start showing that off a little bit more. So for now, he's basically the only one training up the class. Down the road, I'm actually planning to have like three spear fencers. Pretty much with the intention of just kind of having them as a sort of little medical squad in some cases. Where they're mostly just there to kind of guard the side and kind of move in and function as extra lives for Denim on some of the maps that he might end up getting taken out, which is very unlikely at this point, admittedly. But it's just kind of one of those ideas that's out there. You take your horrendously unlikely shots. Thank you. And that's the way I like the archers. There's just, I don't know, hits are so much more satisfying when they're not guaranteed, you know? Like, if you have 5 guys with a, like, 26% hit chance, versus even one with 100%, just, that 100% is never going to be as fun. Because you know it's guaranteed, you know it's going to happen. Take away that guarantee and stuff is a lot more interesting. Punch. Oh, no poison dead. We really need to get this guy Berserk. Honestly, Berserk just is absolutely hilarious on this fight. It's like the single most useful application of Berserk in the game as far as I'm concerned. Just because this is before the point when it can get parried or blocked effectively. So, you're just hitting everybody at once, it's great. Although that being said, you know, same evasion rules still apply with the mod, but whatever, it's satisfying when it works, dang it. Not to mention you can get their respective weapon skill up crazy fast with that. At least, I like to attribute it to that. I'd be completely wrong. It usually goes up so fast that I never even bother to check. It is very, very dandy. And in many ways, you know, that's another one of those things that just kind of adds to the sense of realism, more or less. Because, yeah, you know, obviously people need to train for quite a while to use their stuff and everything else. But at the same time, base game took it way too far. It's... At the end of the day, somebody is still, you know, swinging around a piece of metal. Yes, they've got different techniques, and I'm sure they're studying treatises and whatever else, but ultimately, it's not like they're gonna suddenly get a degree in using that thing. Like, after a few years or whatever, yeah, sure, you know, they're gonna be a lot better using the thing, but at the same time, again, they're still a person. They make mistakes. They're not exactly gonna be invincible. As much as, you know, a lot of movies and stuff like to state otherwise. Their reflexes became so good they were just actually untouchable even when they wanted to be hit by stuff. Yeah, no. No. You can improve your reflexes, but we're still, you know, kind of just crappy mechanisms. We're crappy biological mechanisms. It's... you know, we essentially function as we function. They have errors, computers make errors, we can make errors even more. Essentially just walking, breathing computers for all intents and purposes. And such is life. Which is why it's always hilarious to me, like, whenever, you know, you see somebody coming along like, oh, only I can solve all your problems. Like, no, you're just another, you know, crappy monkey walking this earth with appendages. It's what we all are. No amount of bravado is going to change that. You know, single people may have occasionally done amazing things here and there, but it was never truly just them. They were never... If somebody was a leader or something, they led, you know, a lot of people. It wasn't them. Any probably even better people could have been in that same role. Who knows? Maybe they would have done it better. But, you know, they were still a person. They were not some, you know, godly creature or whatever else, and quite frankly, that's just kind of part of the weird part of the, how people do stuff. For some reason we are very inclined to believe that that kind of stuff just happens, that there's, you know, people that can go and do ultra amazing things. Hell, I mean, I used to do so, and got me burned pretty severely. Because what's funny is a lot of the times people claiming that kind of stuff have a good way of more or less gaslighting the situations around them. Providing just enough doubt and providing just enough, you know, just the right mix of doubt and confidence. Because that's usually the environment that, you know, they're pretty much suited for existing in. They're making their own little fishbowl there. And they're more than happy to drag other people into it. Alright, time to get a small group. And this definitely won't end badly. Right, so this time we're doing neutral. Because neutral is friggin' cool. And it also doesn't get seen very much. Well, you did kind of just break into their town, shove them in a house, and say, hey, let's go to war now. So there's that. Not really sure what you were expecting. Also, why the hell is Vice the one giving the speech? Like, who thought this was a good idea? Should be Ravnus that's giving the speech. Or Lenner. Or friggin' Denim or Casual, really. Like, literally anyone but Vice. Go get a cat to do it. I kinda wish the DLC was completable without Vice. I don't like him. His class is cool. But as a person, he's such a major douche. Good point. You should have dragged Vice out there. And everybody can turn on him, maybe shove him off that cliff on the left. Good stuff. Well, you gave him a few minutes. I feel like they could have resolved this much easier if this guy would just wait. Maybe not go from 0 to genocide in, like, 5 seconds. You are a prick. Okay, at least they established Ravnus wasn't there. Yep, he sure turned around quickly. Also, I love how there's a interesting parallel between him and Valak. Like in the very last cutscene there. Like, they basically have the same thing of like, wow, you are ordering us to do really effed up stuff here, what are you thinking? And just like immediately they're like, no, do it for the country, and they're like, okay. I'm gonna go genocide now. And then they're just completely on board after that point. Like, he kinda has a point here, but dude. I mean, from kind of a strategic sense, it seems like it would make sense. But at the same time, there's such a huge risk of failure that... yeah, no, dude. We're doing neutral. Man. The visual behind that line, though, is so good. You know? Like, okay, if you've seen those early trailers for MGS5, like, that is the thing that comes to mind immediately for this. Man, cool visual. Anyway. Way to friggin' miss, Linner. You do that a lot, you know that? Friggin' master of dodge pratfalling over here. Oh no, he's gone crazy mode. Now, okay, here's one part of this situation that would be really cool if you could use that whole time travel thing to go back and fix. Because you know what, I'm pretty sure that Ravenous here would be completely on board with just like Spirit Surging Vice, who in many cases is going to be a level or two lower than her. That'll probably take off a good half his health, because he has no resistance whatsoever, and then everybody else can fight Linner. You know, there's that. It'd be kind of a cool little addition to Coda, but oh well. I was joking a while ago that it would be cool to go back in time and do all of the other potential vengeance moments. Like, he ends up shooting Ravenous, for example. Like, okay, he's got a relatively light crossbow by the looks of it. It's short range, fine, you know, at this point. The only armor available is mail. There's the potential that it could, you know, could go through it at super close range. But yeah, like, it would be cool to have that whole vengeance moment. Like, she comes back, like, friggin' ultra late game armor or whatever, and it just, like, dinks off. Like, idiot, what did you think would happen? You know, actually, in general, I would have loved to see more of that, like, in strategy games in general. That never comes up. They're like, oh, you know, dramatic lightsaber moment, cut through everything. Yeah, no. You don't see stuff bouncing off very often. Only off of shields and stuff. If only she didn't say that line, you know? Man. Really cool dick line right there. He's an a-hole, but that's a cool comeback. It's fine. You probably took like 40. And just go ahead and heal that right quick. But I guess she got like shot straight in the plot, so... Alright, anyway. Next time.